You're also advising and mentoring the next generation of food agricultural leaders. Where does Lemah Park go from here? And is there a version of what you've built that a younger person earlier in their career and with less capital could replicate?
I mean, I love the mentoring. I do some of that as paid work and some of it pro bono. If I go back to my corporate career, I loved deals. I loved M&A, and I loved helping to grow new leaders, managing talent succession, seeing people flourish. So,
and it is the regenerative farming business.
Well, I'm mentoring all sorts of people, from a guy who's running an artisanal bakery down in Dandenong who makes the best sourdough bread. No, this is I still do quite a lot of work in sort of broader food and ag. I've got a marketeer in what we would call commercial bread production who I'm working with at the moment. I enjoy that. They're wonderful people, and kind of trying to help impart some of the sort of things that I've learned and hopefully stop them making some of the mistakes that I've made. I take a great deal of pride in, and I need that mental stimulation as well. I love farming, but if I didn't have anything a little bit more cerebral, I would struggle.
Is there a version of what you're doing here that someone younger with less money and less experience and less expertise could do? You believe if somebody came to you and said, I'm 22, 25, 30, me and my partner want to do this, we don't have a lot of money. Is there a version of what you're doing that you would recommend for them? Yeah,
I mean, I've seen some land sharing models that are quite effective. There's one of the guys who is in our grazing group, there's three of them share a property, and I think they all do slightly different things. One's got cattle, one's doing veg,
market garden,
I think one's doing flowers or something. I think I'd be very choosy about who I chose, but if there was someone with a good idea to do, pastured eggs or something, I'd be very happy to have a chat with them about doing something here.
So doing something, so one model that you're suggesting is that potentially someone could come to someone like you and say, you're running cattle, how would you feel about me running eggs behind them?
Yeah. And I don't want to be collecting eggs every day.
But it adds hugely to the fertility of your production.
Correct.
And you don't have to do it.
Yeah. And hopefully, enables them to start to build their own capital base.
So not just look for people that you could get together with and get a farm, but maybe speak to existing farmers.
Yeah. I know a couple of vegetable growers as well who are doing a similar thing, where they're using an unused bit. I'm trying to find a beekeeper to come and keep some bees here. I think that's probably
a tough one.
Probably people are more open than maybe what you'd think, and I think folk are going to have to be creative. So they're not making any more land, and it's not going to get any cheaper.
And it's a wonderful way to split that resource between people who have accumulated wealth and people who are just starting out or don't have wealth, don't have the generational opportunities, or haven't worked in industries where they earned a lot of money. But also, it seems to be something that's becoming much more acceptable now than in the last generation, where it was, look, this is my farm, I run whatever, cows, sheep, whatever. Now, people are much more comfortable doing that. It's easier to have simple arrangements.
Yeah. And I think as well, there's got to be some realism. I realised very early that the 60 acres that my grandfather was farming, when he had 4 children, and I was one of 4 as well.
Yeah.
That this just isn't going to happen. You need to go and find your way in the world, and hopefully you can come back.
Right.
So, and I wouldn't let either of my 2 sons have this place, not until they've gone and done something, developed their own wisdom, bought some new thinking and some ideas. I wouldn't want them to just take over doing what I'm doing.
Because?
I just think it's a lazy way of sort of going back to kind of practices that aren't innovative, that aren't sort of moving things forward. I would very much like, I don't want to work hard to develop this property and then, have to sell it in 20 years' time.
No.
But equally, Sam and Archie are going to have to kind of come and give me a business plan and show me what they've learned, why they've become the business person or the agroecologist that this farm needs, and persuade me to back them.
And I always encourage farmers to think of their farm as a business, because historically, the last generation or two, when they were at retirement age, the business part died.
Yep.
It was, oh, well, I've been running 200 steers here on average for 40 years. That's stopped now, and then they sell off the land. It's almost like a chattel sale, where really they should be saying, I've got, which you would be able to do, I've got a brand, I've got a distribution model, I've got a farming system, I've got historical financials, and I'm selling this as a going concern. Then you get the value of the business and the value of the land.
Yeah, yeah. I think you appreciate it more as well. My cousin took over the farm that my uncle farmed, and he took it over from his father, from my grandfather. And I'm not sure he appreciates, the beauty, the ecology. I think it's just a job that he finds pretty draining, actually.
Right. So in his case, perhaps something he shouldn't be doing.
Yeah, I don't know, but I think you have to kind of go away to come back a little bit.
Right, and with fresh eyes. Yeah. Okay, so what you're saying is by going away, you can come back, know whether you want to do this, but also how you want to do
Bring
this.
some fresh
to make
thinking.
You, right.